If you're looking for something creative that you can do from home to make some sales that doesn't require you to deal with inventory or shipping or a long time to create the actual product itself, this might be something you'll really like. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can actually design and sell books on Amazon. And you can do this without having to spend months and months writing a book. So I'm actually going to show you how you can create these types of books. Like some of these are considered low content, like journals or books that you even write yourself if you want to do that as well. And there's actually a software out there that I just found that actually allows you to go through the entire process, research, keyword optimization, and creation of a low content book all within the same software, so you don't have to do everything the hard way. So I'm going to show you step by step how to do this with something called BookBolt. BookBolt is actually a software that you can use. You can actually use it in your browser. You don't even have to download anything. BookBolt.io allows you to actually create everything from start to finish. You start with an idea. Even if you don't have an idea, you can literally take this and figure out an idea, do some keyword research, see what's actually selling, and then go through the whole process of creating it and selling it and optimizing it for selling on Amazon. So if you're not sure how we're going to actually sell this on Amazon, this is actually going to be done through Kindle Direct Publishing. So this is how you can actually be a small creator where you don't have to be a major company or a major publisher. You can actually self-publish books directly on Kindle. I've done a few of these myself. And you can actually do this as an ebook. You can do this as, like I said, like a journal. You can actually create paperback books and more and publish it from start to finish yourself. Create your own pricing, create your own book cover, and upload the book content itself to Amazon directly and start selling it as a business. And one thing a lot of people don't realize is that you don't have to write a full novel to actually get sales on Amazon. Now, with AI and other tools now, it may be easier to do it that way than before, and you can still use this software to create stuff like that. But I'm going to be focusing on things like journals or low content types of books, where if you actually look on here, you'll notice that these are getting a lot of sales. Many of these sell for like $10 or $7, $5, etc. And they're just different types of journals with different types of covers, or they have a certain theme to them. I've even seen people sell journals where they have like quotes or like a daily planner and things like that, where you don't have to write a full novel to get results. What's also nice about KDP is they handle printing, shipping, and customer service for you. So the problem with many businesses, of course, is many people don't have time to do all of that themselves. But luckily, Amazon makes it much easier. As you can see, you can self-publish all sorts of different books. They will print it for you if it even needs to be printed, if it's not digital. And you can earn 70% royalties on these book sales. And they can actually sell internationally as well. Now I'm actually going to log into my BookBolt account and show you step by step how you can go about this process of creating a book from scratch, researching it, getting the right keywords, and actually uploading it to Amazon. So the first step you might want to start with is keyword search. With keyword search, you can start researching ideas for what could actually sell and actually rank, instead of just doing everything blindly and just taking a guess. So one thing I was thinking about doing is maybe like a travel journal, where you would basically keep track of your different vacations or your different trips that you go on, and have like a logbook that you can look back on and kind of relive those memories when it's hard to remember all the different things you got to do on these trips. So you can see there's all sorts of different types of niche travel journals that you can do if you go through the different keywords. I'm just going to do kind of a general one as an example for this video. And then if you guys like this, maybe I'll get into some more advanced keyword research and more niche topics later on. But just figure out something that maybe you would like to do, and then double check that the keywords make sense for Amazon as well as Google. And you can get an idea based on search volume, cost per click, competition, things like that between Amazon and Google for different types of whether it's journals, coloring books, etc. that you might want to create. So I'm going to add the travel journal keywords to my favorites. Got about 3,400 search volume, which isn't too crazy as far as how high it is, but it's also enough to warrant some sales if it happens to do well on Amazon. So then you would want to click on Book Bolt Studio. That will take you to this page right here. This is where you start to actually create it for selling on Amazon. So you would actually start creating how you're going to do this. You can also use an AI story generator if you want to, but for this one, I'm using low content because it's a journal. So I would just call this maybe the travel journal. Just a standard 6 by 9 inches with black and white interior with white paper. And then you can also choose premium colors, standard colors, etc. And then you would just click create project. So next you can use something like AI. For instance, I really like Nano Banana from Google AI Studio. You can also use ChatGPT as well as many other services, even something like Canva if you want to create it yourself, or if you have some of your own photos. Just make sure that you are not using something that someone else has the copyright to. So I'm going to use Google AI Studio for this example, and because I just think Nano Banana is really high quality. Again, for this one, we are creating a travel journal, and it's 6 by 9 inches. So as you can see here, I actually created a matching front and back image by prompting Google's Nano Banana and the AI Studio. And you have to be careful how you prompt it, but once you create one you like for the front cover, just tell it, great job, please make a back cover using the exact same border, color scheme, and style of the first image, and it will do just that. And as you can see, it comes together with the front page on the right and the back page on the left, and you have a very professional looking journal cover on the front and back. So after you have your cover done, what you want to do is go to page 1 here. And when you click on that, you want to go to this little puzzle shape right here called Page Templates. This shows you all sorts of different templates that they already have available so that you don't have to manually create it yourself. They've done a lot of this for you already. You just got to figure out what you're looking for and what types of template you want to use so that you can actually just optimize this process, get it done as quickly as possible, and make a really solid, high quality book without having to start completely from scratch. And of course, you can edit it a little bit if you want to take the template, tweak a few things about it, and then save it that way. You can do that as well. So for instance, I could start with something like the vacation planner page. And what I can do is I can preview it first to see, okay, is this what I want? Well, one of the biggest parts of traveling, of course, is the vacation planner. So you can actually go back and see the different types of transportation, what your budget was, and have this organized thing that lets you not only just do everything like in just basic notes, but see all the little types of details in categories for your past vacations. So I want to favorite this in case I want to go back and tweak this journal later on. And then, for instance, one thing I could do is select odd pages only. And then I could do like another page of just notes, just things that happened on the trip that day on even pages. I think that would be kind of a cool idea. So continue to options, keep aspect ratio, and then submit. And then we can kind of see what it looks like once we do that. So you can see on every odd page, I have what is essentially like a vacation planner. And then on even pages, what I could do, then I could use just like a journal page here. I could go to variants, wide journal, college journal, narrow journal. I'm going to say something more like wide journal, I think would be nice here. I'm going to go ahead and favorite that just to make it easier to go back and edit this later if I want. Preview, make sure I like it, and then add this. Select by rule, select even, and then continue to options. Keep everything about the same and then click submit. And then you have the travel journal rough draft created. You have some notes here, and then you have the planner. So each page, you have a planner for each trip and some notes about what you did on that trip to go with it. You also have a nice cover, in my opinion. So everything's coming together. So of course they auto save for you, but this, I went ahead and manually saved it, and then you can download it and go to Amazon KDP to start publishing. So then it will optimize it for you. It'll create a project archive, and then it gives you the download. They also tell you step by step. They have a little link there, as you can see in the box, that shows you like a tutorial of how to upload it as well. So you can go to kdp.amazon.com. You can click join if you've not done this before, or sign in if you have. And you can actually use your existing Amazon account, which I'm guessing you probably have. If you don't, you can create an Amazon account for free. And this is not going to cost you anything to publish. So then you go to create new title or series. I'm going to go paperback with this particular journal for just this example. So then you'll end up on the page with all the details. You'll have to pick your language, title, series, edition number, author, all of this stuff. So now I'm going to go back to the keyword search in BookBolt and look for the keywords that I want to use. For this one, it's going to be travel journal. And you can go to either more details, keyword search, or product search. So if I go to more details, it looks like this. It'll tell you estimated monthly sales volume, competition score, and then you can see all of these different types of keywords that people might use for these. So for instance, the ones that have the most use might be travel, journal, writing, prompts, etc. Now if I click on keyword search, it creates a new tab, so it keeps me organized, and then I can look and see all these different variations, of course, of these. Now you can see travel and journal, book, notebook, cover, leather would be one. If you're going to do that, it needs to be leather. You can do one for men specifically. You can do one for kids specifically if you want to teach your kid how to plan vacations. And you can also do some for like individual countries like Japan, small, sketch, scrapbook, women, weight, all sorts of different things. If I click on the product search button right here, the little magnifying glass, it'll take me to another tab, again, to keep you organized. You'll see the keywords at the top there, and then you'll see the top 500 results for this topic. The low price range, $3.58. High price range, $35 or so. Average would be around 10. And then you can see more keywords that you might want to consider. Bestseller rank, how the top ones are doing, what they look like, what they're called, what their title is. So this one's actually like a coloring book, but if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see some that are more like this one's more of a stamp book if you want to collect stamps. Travel, stamp books, those seem to be doing really well. Travel guides, things like that. You also have like a hiking journal that's pretty much related to this, except it's specifically for a certain type of trip that you would take. So with the help of the KDP Spy and with BookBolt, I actually found some great options here where I found some that have a little bit different title than I was originally looking for, but this helped me optimize it and see what's getting sales. And they have something called the Clever Fox Travel Journal, Itinerary Travel Planner Organizer for Women, Men, and Couples, Travel Log Journal, Last 5 Trips, A5, and then it gives the color and the size. So I want to use that kind of as an example of what I could model after. So I went with something that sounded a little more mature, a little bit of a word that means traveling, that means a world traveler, a voyager, something that could be applied to pretty much anywhere you go. And then I basically modeled the subtitle after what's working with the top result that I mentioned here using the BookBolt Spy tool. So after you have your title and your subtitle, what you can do is scroll down a little bit. Now for this particular example as a journal, I don't need to put a series or edition number. You can put your author or contributor name here. Now one thing I would actually recommend you look into is possibly doing a pen name, which is basically like an alternate name that you use to publish these things if you don't want to tie your real name directly to these. So for instance, I've published books in the past where I would use a pen name just because you don't know for sure if you want to edit the book later on, or if you want to change niches or unpublish it or change something about it. So if you're kind of doing this for the first time, or you're not sure if you want to maybe go into a whole nother category later, you might consider having a separate pen name for each category of books you're going to do, or even come up with what sounds like a website or business name. So you can do that as well. I'm just using my name just as an example right now, but to publish that again, I would consider probably using a pen name. But then you have the description here. We'll get to that in a second. But you want to make sure and put I own the copyright and hold necessary publishing rights. Sexually explicit images or title. In this example, I obviously do not have anything like that. Primary marketplace, I'm using Amazon.com. You can change that as well depending on your country. And then you can edit categories. So you want to pick at least 2 or 3 categories here. So for instance, I did, for a travel journal, I did something like books, crafts, hobbies, and home. And then event planning. Now you can also do like travel for something like this. You could do general, travel writing maybe. You could also go to a subcategory and do say like food, lodging, and transportation, since a lot of what you are talking about in your journal is probably going to be the different types of food, lodging, and transportation that you plan and different activities that you do instead of focusing on a specific region. So I would put either that or put, again, maybe something just general or travel writing for this example. And then you could also do, say, for instance, self-help, where self-help is related to journaling. It's not about a specific type of self-help for this one. This could be either maybe dreams, but I would say it's better just to put journal writing for this example, and then you save the categories from there. And then you have low content book. Does your book classify as any of these types? Choose all that apply. So you would do that as well. Make sure to check that if you are doing a low content book, which is typically what you would use BookBolt for. For the description, you can copy and paste or have AI rewrite a very similar description to some of your competitors that you researched. For instance, this is basically one that I got from a main competitor, which does a bunch of different types of travel journals and things like that. So it's basically like fulfill your dreams, trip worth being remembered, carefree journey, A5 format, premium quality. So you talk about the size of it. So this would actually be more like, I believe it's 6x9. So you might change the size of that to make sure that the size is proper. And so when people search for that, if you have some sort of money back guarantee, you can put that in there as well if you want to include that. So just a few different things that you might want to consider including. Just again, the whole point of this is to look and see what's working and model it for yourself in a way that's still original, but that uses what is already working. Then you have keywords. So when it comes to keywords here, this is optional, but a lot of times it's recommended to use keywords just to make it easier for someone to find your book, because you're probably not going to be doing a lot of paid advertising until you actually know what the book is going to do. And so you're going to rely a lot on organic search to find the book in the first place. So you want to have as many keywords, categories, etc. So that's when you can take some of these top keywords here. You can use the ones on the side here for the different products related to your keywords that you're searching for. You can also look at these individual words as well to see their search volume and their bestseller ranks, all of that stuff on here as well. So you can get a better idea of like, okay, well, what's working, what is being used a lot in this niche, and then figure out what makes the most sense from there. So for instance, I would probably put travel, of course, journal. So you can also use the ones from the keyword search here and use the pairings or the keyword search phrases instead of just one word at a time. And you can go based on competition, search volume. I think search volume is really important here. And you might want to include a few lower competition keywords. It just depends on whether you want to go for higher pay and more potential but more competition, or lower potential, lower competition. So then after you have your keywords here, you would basically scroll down, publication date, release date. You would basically just do it for sale now, because this is not really a novel or something like that. And then you would click save and continue. I would just keep it unpublished without an ISBN. That's typically what you would just stick with for a low content book like this. We already chose the black and white interior with white paper back on BookBolt, if you remember me showing you that. So we're going to stick with that. You just got to make sure that your the book size, the type of paper, all that stuff matches what you picked on your BookBolt settings. No bleed, matte, glossy. We didn't really have that option on BookBolt. I just stick with matte in this scenario. There's no reason to have a glossy journal really. So black and white, 6x9, no bleed, matte would all go very well with this. Okay, so one other note, when you are uploading your manuscript and your book cover, make sure that they are in PDF format. And when you download, as I showed you, directly from this page right here, the studio, when you click download and you download current project CMYK printed books for a journal like this, you download it that way, but it's going to be in a zip file and you will have to extract it. So you just click on the zip file download, there's going to be a little extract button for your computer that automatically pops up. You click that and it'll just basically allow you to access the cover and the interior in PDF format. So when you go back here, when you go back to your manuscript and your book cover, you'll notice that everything will upload successfully. You should see that they both have a little check mark. The book cover pops up like this. And then you also, if you use AI generated content in any way, make sure to let them know and don't try and lie to them in any way. There's no reason to do that. So for instance, I just did it for one or a few images because I used it for the cover and that's it. I don't know if you're really even supposed to do that for just the cover, but I went ahead and played it on the safe side. I did not use AI for text or translation. So then you have the launch previewer. So you want to make sure that your journal looks the way it's supposed to look. So you can go on each page here and you can make sure that everything is going to look the way you want it to. So this basically shows you how to check and make sure that everything is properly formatted. You can see that the lines are very accurate with what you see in the studio. So when you click in the studio, you'll see that the lines that pop up and everything, they line up very well with how you see them here. So then you click approve. It'll tell you your printing cost. As you can see here, it's going to be about $2.30 per book on Amazon. This may vary depending on your country or depending on when you're doing this. When you look at pricing on BookBolt, you can see lowest and highest for your main keyword phrase you're trying to search for here. It's a very wide range in this case, but when you're new, when you're just testing things out, I would say probably go lower, but it just depends on what you're doing. But with this, you also have to consider the profit margin and you have to consider how much it costs to actually produce it, which, like I said, it's a little over $2 to produce each one of these when it gets printed. So this one actually says a minimum of $4.60, a maximum of $250 for Amazon.com. So this is the last step. All you have to do is determine your pricing, and once you determine your pricing, you can see the royalty, the rate, the print. So this would not be that great of a royalty, as you can see, so I would probably want to make it a little more expensive. Some of the other ones I was looking at were around $19 or $20, so you might have to be a little more competitive and go close to that range and just make sure that you have a royalty rate that you're okay with that covers the printing cost. And again, you get a percentage of the amount after the printing cost. So you have to factor both of those in when determining how much you're going to make per sale. So a $19 book would earn you about $9.10 per sale in this scenario. And then it automatically translates it to each individual country and their currency from there. And then after that, all you literally have to do is you save your draft just in case and then publish your book from there, and it'll start showing up on Amazon and people will be able to actually find it. So from there, of course, you're going to want to figure out some plan to get reviews. I can cover that in another video, but normally what you would want to do is you can approach reviewers and give it to them for free. You can buy it for them and ask people to review it. or you can set the price low in the beginning and get people to review it because it's lower and they'll be more likely to do that. You can also do paid ads to get more people. So you just have to make sure you don't do any sort of fake reviews or, use other accounts, or I don't know if you're really supposed to use family and friends for that either. I think that's something that Amazon discourages as well. So make sure to read Amazon's policies on their reviews, which can change over time. But make sure you find a way to promote the book to get more reviews, to give yourself a chance to rank it. Another thing to point out here, if you want to feel a little bit better about this whole process, one, if you look at any book that's listed on here, not every book is going to be listed in BookBalt when you search for something. So if something doesn't come up that you see on Amazon that's not coming up on BookBalt, that means it's probably not independently published. But one encouraging thing about that is that when you look at all of these results, these are all examples of people who are independently publishing their books and actually getting really good results. So if you're wondering, well, how much can I actually make? You can go and see how much the estimated sales are for each of these that is published the way basically that you are publishing. These people are not major publishers. These are independents using something like Amazon KDP and getting hundreds of sales per month for some that might cost $20 each. So, these could be making thousands of dollars a month passively in some cases, depending on the type of book. And when you look at it that way, when you look at BookBalt's results that way, it helps you really realize, oh, okay, well, everything I'm looking at is something that is good inspiration for where I could end up one day. So now that I've shown you the full process of researching and building and publishing a book through Amazon using BookBalt, an all-in-one software, I'm actually going to offer you a 20% lifetime discount by using the code Justin, just my name, Justin. You can get BookBalt 20% cheaper for the lifetime of the product. So you're getting an all-in-one tool that can allow you to start creating an Amazon business selling all sorts of different types of low-content books without having to spend months writing anything, without having to come up with your own concepts for how the page layout should be, and without having to figure out the formatting, the keyword research, and all of the things that usually would come with creating a book. Plus, everything is published for you. You never have to have anything and sell it out of your house or buy an order of them first or figure out how you're going to get it printed. It's all done for you. And as you can see, if you look at the pricing page here, you actually get a 3-day free trial. So you can actually create a whole book. Like I said, I create a whole book in this video. You can create a whole book in an hour or two your first time, and you're just going to get faster and faster from there. So you can spend 3 days creating a few books for free, get an idea if you want to keep it or not, turn it into something long term, and maybe start earning some royalties down the road from your Amazon sales. Start with something simple, maybe lower competition, and build it up from there. Create the templates, get the process down, and BookBalt could be your best friend going forward for creating your first or your next online business. So make sure to click the link in the description of the video below so you can start bringing your books to life and get the 20% lifetime discount by using code Justin.